Hi, I'm Shana Rai and I'm your examiner today. Can I know your full name?
Hello ma'am, my first name is Diksha and my family name is Tamang. You can call me Diksha.
Okay, Diksha, where are you from?
Although my permanent address is Zapa Bhadrapur, it's been a year since I am residing in Kathmandu, Soropute.
And what is your academic qualification?
I'm a student and I'm currently doing my bachelor's first year in Bachelor in Social Work.
There are 3 parts in IELTS speaking. Now I'm beginning with part 1. Are you ready?
So,
In part 1, we are talking about accommodation. Do you live in a house or a flat?
as I said earlier, I'm far away from my permanent address and currently I'm living in a flat.
Is it a big place to live?
As you know, Kathmandu is a metropolitan city which consists plethora of large buildings, and the place where I live is small but a good place to live.
And how long have you lived there?
As I have started living in this city since a year, and it has also been a year since I have started living in a flat.
Okay. What do you like about living in that place?
Although living far away from my home and far away from my parents is strenuous, but the bigger side that I am having right now is that I can have my own personal space and I do not have to face any disturbance while doing any sorts of work.
And is there a garden in the place that you live in?
While Kathmandu is a city where it consists of large buildings, there is no availability of garden in the place where I live.
Let's talk about weather. Do you prefer hot weather or cold weather?
Although I'm a person who is allergic to hot weather, I still prefer summer seasons as we do not have to wear more clothes compared to winters that makes us uncomfortable.
And has the weather changed much in your country in the recent years?
Speaking about my weather condition of my country, I think that the weather condition in recent year has changed a lot.
Yes.
Compared to past years. We can take an example of recent days as it is as recent days of monsoon as monsoon used to start from June through to August. It has been starting a little earlier than past years.
Thank you so much, Diksha. That was the end of your IELTS speaking part 1. Now I would like to move into part 2. In part 2, I will be giving you a topic and you have to talk for that topic for 2 minutes. The topic is you will have to describe a beautiful place that you have visited and say where it is located. You will also have to say how to get there and what are the things that a person can do when he or she is there. And lastly, you will have to explain why you recommend this place. You will get 1 minute to prepare some notes. After this 1 minute, you will have to talk for 2 minutes. Okay, Diksha, now you can stop and you can now start talking for 2 minutes. Do not worry about the timing. I will be stopping you when the time is up.
Since Nepal is a country blessed with nature, Pokhara is the best destination to enhance and get closer to the nature. It is located at Gandaki zone, the west side of Kathmandu Valley. Speaking about the conveyance to reach there, we can choose by any means of transportation. Like we can also choose pavement or going through skyways if you have motion sickness, but I advise everyone to go by roadway as you can enjoy the breathtaking views throughout your whole journey. After arriving there, the first thing to do is boating in Fewa Lake, as it is the most preferred thing to do by everyone. And if you are an adventurous person, you can also go for bungee jumping, and rafting and paragliding too. And if you are a devotional person, you can also seek for blessings at Vindhyavasini temple, and also similarly you can also go to Peace Pagoda, also known as Santi Stupa, located at the top of the Fewa Lake. And The another thing that you can do after visiting there is that you can also witness the mesmerizing view of sunrise from Sarangkot, and you can also see Mount Kanchenjunga from there. The reason that why I prefer people to go there is that it is suitable for all kinds of mankind, very differed from being devotional to adventurous person. You can visit there in your free time, as it is one of the most beautiful places of Nepal.
Okay, thank you. That was the end of your IELTS speaking part 2. Now, when are you planning to visit there?
After I complete my IELTS exam, I am planning to visit there, as I like it a lot, and I am planning to visit there as soon as I finish my IELTS exam.
Thank you so much, Diksha. That was the end of IELTS speaking part 2. Now let's move on to part 3. In part 3, we will be talking about tourism and travelers. Why do you think people like to travel to different places in their free time?
In my opinion, I think that people like to travel in their free time to take a break from their stressful life. Similarly, to seek for relaxation and visit new surroundings. For example, in this is a modernized era where people are very busy with their tight work schedule, and they while they forget about their about the enjoyment and their life. People like to travel to seek for relaxation and be free from their regular life.
And how do you see tourism changing in your country?
Compared to past days, tourism has changed drastically in recent years. According to recent surveys, about 2 lakhs of tourists had visited Nepal since last 6 months, where while a handful of tourists were only granted to visit Nepal in past years. I think that tourism has changed drastically coming to the present years.
And is it important to protect the countryside?
Speaking about countryside of my country, it is important. I feel that it is prominent to protect countryside, as the administration is busy focusing on city side and leaving out the outskirt domains of the country, as it lacks a lot of numerous facilities like transportation, education, and hospitals and all. It is very prominent to preserve countryside along with city side.
Why are historic buildings and monuments important to a city?
Coming to the history of a country, it is very important to conserve monuments or old buildings of the city, as it is the source of information of cultural history of a country, of a city. For example, museums are the source. Museums can be regarded as the main source of information about the past years, cultural history, and all the information regarding histories. It is prominent to conserve monuments and the old buildings of a city.
What do you think? Is it better to keep old buildings or build new modern ones?
As I said earlier, old buildings are the source of information about the history. Keeping that thing in mind, it is important to build new and advanced buildings, talking about the earthquake that occurred in Nepal at 2072 BS. It brought a lot of losses of lives, as most of the buildings were old and not advanced, so it is important to balance both the old buildings and it is also pivotal to build new and advanced buildings.
Thank you so much, Diksha. Now, I would like to end your IELTS speaking part 3 here itself. You have received an overall band score 8. In lexical resource, you have scored 8.5 because you have listed so many complex vocabulary which was related to the topic itself. Moving on to grammatical range and accuracy, you spoke grammatically accurate sentence. There were mix of simple sentence, complex sentence, and your grammar was accurate. However, you could work on your prepositions, singular plurals. You scored 7.5 in grammatical range and accuracy. Now in pronunciation, it was very easy to listen to you. You scored band score 8. Last but not the least, in fluency and coherence, you scored band score 8. Work on your part